According to the International Labour Organization, erosion of real wages is happening everywhere. In the US, wages have declined by 2% since the beginning of the year. Over in Europe, in countries like Sweden and Netherlands, it is a 5% decline from 2020 till today. Consequently, this is ultimately eroding the purchasing power of families around the world. But just with everything in life, there are wishes and then there is reality. Can we afford to increase wages to match the rising inflation? Here's what I think. Welcome to the Olympian Report, where we talk about money, life, and just about anything else. Nice to see you again. I am your host, Alistair. One, how hard is the rising cost of living hitting the average worker? Hard if you are below the top 20%, especially hard if you are an average earner. Any lower than that and your day-to-day operations have now been exponentially difficult. This current inflation is different. It was not triggered by the usual course of economical events, but rather by life and poor choices. For starters, COVID punched us in the face, and that includes the $trillions of COVID and rental relief money the US printed. Add to that the rippling secondary effects of that eviction moratorium that is driving force behind rent exceeding the inflation rate by 40%. Add to that the war in Ukraine and the increase in gas prices, and yeah, life for the average isn't really great right now. And PS, in case you need an educational bit and not be ridiculed in private, presidents have absolutely no control over gas prices. 2. Wage price spiral. It is the main argument levied against raising wages. Wage price spiral is a concept that when wages go up, there is then an increase in demand for goods and services, which then promotes higher prices. But it is a phenomenon that is associated with low unemployment, followed by high aggregate demand, followed by high wage demand. However, if you analyze the data across the world, wages only increased by 1% over the past 10 years. If you look further into high-income countries like the US, the number is less than that. Now, if you analyze the data on productivity growth, that increase is closer to 10%. Adding to that the fact that the wage bargaining process has been at a historically weak point, we can clearly conclude that the wage price spiral would not fuel the inflationary flames. Then what's the answer? Personally, I think wages should go up to match inflation, and according to the data, things wouldn't be made worse. But the real answer is, it depends. It depends on the policies put in place. But the most important policy of all is the one of public opinion. Earlier I made a video about why politics matters. Check that out after this one. But pretty much people govern our world, and politics governs our decisions, and people hate change. If enough noise is made to trigger a break in the normalcy of things, then our politician will have to sit at the table and have the conversation. Think gay marriage. So until there is more and consistent noise about the issue, then don't expect much of a change. But really, throwing the question back at you, what do you think? Should wages increase to match inflation? And as a thank you for staying with us this far, you know the drill, so here's your bonus. China's zero COVID policy. This inflation is driven mainly by massive disruption in the world supply chain. You see, demands for goods and services are high, the economy is hot. But unfortunately for us, China is the factory of the world, and the factory is sort of closed due to their COVID situation. And voila, just like that, everyone is having supply shortages overnight. Guys, thank you so much for listening to my rants. I appreciate you more than you know. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed the content, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so you don't miss a beat. I look forward to our next meeting. See you next Friday, and of course, if you are kind enough to support us financially, buy us a coffee so we can still play researching, writing, editing, and uploading these contents. Link in the description below. Au revoir et merci.